Hey tubers, how are you? It's Mike from Life's a Journey 71. You guys asked for it and I'm going to give it to you. You guys have been asking me about my manual juicer, my Heathy juicer as you see it here. So today we're going to be doing a little product review on it. I'm going to give you the goods and the bads of this little juicer. Mostly the goods though, so relax, sit tight. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the components of it with you and how it actually goes together, because it is completely removable, which is perfect for cleaning. Anyway, let's get down to it. So here's all the parts of this Heathy juicer. I took all the components apart and laid them out so it's easier for you guys to see, and I'll go through each and every individual component, and as I do I'll actually assemble this juicer. Once the juicer is completely assembled, then I'll show you some of the goods and bads that I've found with it anyway. So let's get started. It's real simple to put together. Anybody can do this. And I love how it comes apart because it's very easy to clean. It's also, you can stuff it completely into a dishwasher. So they say. I haven't put mine in the dishwasher yet, and I'll explain why as I go. So, with the first component you have is this part right here, which is actually the base of the juicer. You can see on the bottom it has this really cool rubber ring, as cool as rubber rings can possibly be, which is perfect because it also on the side has this cool lock and release mechanism. This acts as a suction cup, so it can actually clamp itself on to non-porous surfaces. Problem with that, number one, is you have to have a non-porous surface. Anyway, this actually just locks in place, and as you can see, it's in there. It's not going anywhere. It also comes with this cool little tool over here with the triangle shape in the end of it, which is on the other end of the tamper. This actually just goes in here and helps you get a little more leverage. It's really not that hard to turn, so I tend not to use it. Okay. So there's our base. The second part we have is the actual body of the juicer, and this thing is rugged plastic. Of course everything's made of plastic these days, but this thing is actually really durable. Like, you could probably jump on this thing and it wouldn't break. Not that you should be jumping on your kitchen utensils, but it's good to know that if you do, they'll take it. No, this thing's actually really rugged, and it'll take a beating. You can juice anything. I tend to stuff this completely full and crank as hard as I can on it, and it just takes it. So this actually has a little slide on the bottom here that actually slides into the base. I'll move that bucket out of the way. So as you can see, and that's how that goes together. Really simple so far. The third part is the auger itself, and to be honest with you, when I first bought this juicer, because these retail for just 49 bucks, I was kind of skeptical about how rugged this thing was actually going to be. I'm thinking 49 bucks, yeah, I'll get a little bit of time out of it, but you know what, this thing is solid. You could pretty much grind rocks, I think, with this thing. It does have a metal insert that goes completely through, and it's surrounded by really high impact, heavy duty plastic of some sort. Again, with the plastic. But it has this metal tip on the end, which is actually the milling surface, so it's going to take a long time for that to ever either break or wear down, which is good. I'm glad they put that metal tip on there, because I was kind of scared that if the plastic was on the end, you know, I wouldn't want it breaking. The next component is this rubber, or not, I'm sorry, not rubber, it's plastic actually. It's like a bearing or a bushing, and it slides on the end of this shaft right here. And this actually allows it to spin. The problem that I have with this is if you lose this piece, the whole juicer is completely useless until you get a new one. And judging by the shape of it, it's not like you could find one very simply. In fact, the only place I found that you can actually get parts for this juicer is from the website itself. So we may need some distributors out there. So if you're a distributor, there you go. There's your point for the day. Distribute these things and I'll buy parts from you. The kit that you do buy does come with some extra parts, and it does come with an extra one of these bushings, which is great because I've already lost my first one and this is my last spare. So if any of you have any extras out there and you want to send me a spare, please do so. I'll appreciate it. Anyway, this part just slides onto the end. This part, the auger, now that it's got the bushing on it, actually just slides into the body. That's pretty simple, right? Other than that, that's pretty much it for the auger itself. The next part that you have is what I call the extruder. It's the second half of the milling surface. It has a metal insert that's in here that the metal on the end of the auger actually rides against. This is what grinds up your vegetables, your fruits, or rocks, or whatever you're putting through here. On the tip of that, there's just this plastic tip. The plastic tip just screws on, and this plastic tip, basically all it really does is it allows it to come out in a more condensed. It actually holds the pulp back just for that extra, little bit to get that juice out of it. Make sure you get as much juice out of it as possible. And this thing, it gets all the juice out completely. The funny thing about this, and it screws on, is it's reverse threaded. So it takes you a few minutes to wrap your head around that you actually have to screw it on the opposite way. And depending upon what you're doing, if you're doing fruits, you want this to be a little bit looser. If you're doing stuff like wheatgrass, which this is perfect for, you want this as tight as possible because it's small, it's dense, and it's hard to get the juice out of wheatgrass, so you really want to mill it down. It does come with this cool little tool on the end that has its like serrated teeth in here that actually grip it so that you can actually tighten it up a little bit more. That's the only use for that. Anyway, the next part to actually go on is the handle itself, which is actually cool. It does have a little cog-like thing on the end that just fits on the end of the shaft, and then you just screw it on. It's a nice long handle, so you can get a decent amount of leverage with it, which is really cool. So we'll turn that to the side now, because that's another flaw. The handle actually is too close to the body itself, and you end up having to clamp it very close to the surface or the side of something, and unfortunately it doesn't fit on my countertop because my countertop has a rolled edge. So you need something almost square and flat that happens to be non-porous, or something that hangs out so that you can screw this on. So that, to me, is almost a design flaw, but I found a way around it. The next part you have is the bucket. The bucket's really basically very simple. It just actually slides in place in front of it, and the juice actually comes out the back. So when you're juicing, you put your vegetables in here, it goes through here, it gets milled up out here, the pulp comes out the front, and the juice travels along the bottom and comes out the back. In this part, the bucket slides in place. This part actually goes in the top of the bucket, like so. It's just a strainer. It's a metal strainer that catches all the pulp when it comes out of the juice, and you just slide it in there like that. And this thing works actually really well. It does catch most, I dare say about 98% of all the pulp. Anything smaller than that, I don't worry about. And that slides in there like that. And that is your fully assembled juicer. Pretty simple. Now, some of the flaws that I've seen. One, the big one for me, is the shape of that bucket. It's great that it actually, well here, let me take that strainer out, because the strainer works very well and I have no issue with that. It's the bucket shape itself. The bucket is designed to actually sit around the body of the juicer, which is fine, it's great. However, when you're done juicing and you go to pour out your juice, as you notice on this side, it actually has another spout for some reason. I have no idea why. But when you tip it up like this, it generally falls out here as well. So it would be better if this was either flat right across, or if very least this part was sealed with a cap so that you could actually pour it and it wouldn't run all over the place. Anyway, the second part of this bucket that I wish, this part here that actually catches the juice, I wish it was a little bit longer, simply because on the bottom part here of the juicer, where the juice comes out, when this slides in, it's only about 1/8 of an inch at best that actually the juice falls out of this and goes into this bucket. So there's really not a lot of room, so if you accidentally have it off to one side, the juice tends to run down and go into the countertop. Not a huge deal, you just have to make sure you got it right 100% of the time. And the last issue that I really have is this handle itself. It needs to be a little further away from the body, simply because, as you can see, if I were to put it onto the edge and then put my juicer in, I'm very close to the edge of this workstation, and sometimes when you're turning this juicer, if you don't have this completely straight to the side, you can see it does hit, which is not exactly great on the knuckles. So maybe another half an inch or even an inch out would be much more better to actually allow this in. Much more better. That's good English. Anyway, I'm not an English teacher, I just work with juicers. Anyway, that's my product review. It wasn't all that bad, relatively painless. So with that being said, even though it has its goods and its bads, it's still a great juicer for the value. 49 bucks, come on, you can't complain with that. And it does work great. It juices everything that I've put into it, and as long as you make sure that the operator is fully aware of what you're doing, you'll have no issues with this machine whatsoever. Anyway, juicer up, peoples, because I still got mine going. I got a really wicked green juice going this morning, and I've got a load of fruits, so I'm going to be making this really wicked fruit juice for this afternoon. But that's my product review. Don't forget to like this video and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.